we can now bring in Denis Baranger, professor in public law at Université Paris. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. What do you make out of the statements from the Prime Minister? I believe we have the guest. There we have the right image. What do you make of the statements which we have coming out from the Prime Minister's office today? He's rather optimistic. Do you share his optimism?
Well, I'm not aware of the last consultations he's had this morning because I was tied up with something else. His optimism is connected to the talks he's been able to have, probably with the Socle Commun, so the people, the parties who are supporting him, and also probably with the socialists. So time will tell what has happened at Hotel Matignon this morning. I don't think anybody wants a dissolution, except probably Rassemblement National. But apart from that, I think it's in nobody's interest. So maybe the Socle Commun, so the coalition parties who are supporting Mr. Lecornu and the previous Prime Minister, Mr. Beaud, have come to an agreement to avoid the worst scenario.
We have the socialists who, after their meeting with the Prime Minister earlier today, said there's no guarantee pension reform will be suspended. They didn't really share the optimism the Prime Minister did. But let me talk to you, let me play you a soundbite of Marine Le Pen, because she's not even taking part in these talks. Take a listen to what she had to say.
I condemn all this joking around. It's gone on long enough. We're making the French chase after bulls to buy time. Morality would dictate that Emmanuel Macron consider dissolution and his resignation.
Emmanuel Macron réfléchisse très sérieusement à la dissolution ou même à sa démission.
Denis Baranger, let me bring you in once again. Now, if Emmanuel Macron goes ahead and names a new prime minister, what is the likelihood that they can bring the far right on board, given this considerable amount of clout they have, knowing they would gain significantly if snap elections were to be called?
No, exactly. These are very harsh words on the part of Madame Le Pen. And I'm not sure at all that the Rassemblement National would join any coalition. Why? For the reason you just said, because it is in their best interest to have a snap election. The real surprise is not Mr. Lecornu's problem, to be honest. It's the fact that he's been appointed in the first place by the president. In the past, he doesn't represent anybody but himself, and he only has the support of President Macron, if at all. So Mr. Lecornu does not represent a party, does not represent a coalition. Hence the problem he's had up to this day, and probably his resignation is only evidence that actually he was not able to create a government. Today is not very surprising, to be honest. What's happening today?
Let me ask you about this, because the left, after their meeting, says they want a prime minister, the socialists rather, say they want a prime minister from the left. What is the likelihood that this is going to happen? Because Emmanuel Macron has been reluctant to reach across the aisle, if you will. He keeps naming people that reflect him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so far, the president has done all he could to avoid the scenario of left-wing prime ministers and ministers from the Socialist Party on board in the government. And like I said, the appointment as Prime Minister of Mr. Lecornu was a surprise and a disappointment for most people, not only for political reasons, but because what we now have in France is a fully fledged parliamentary government. And in a fully fledged parliamentary government, what you need is support from the majority of the National Assembly. And the socialists don't even have that themselves. Neither does the left as a whole.
But what do you think is going to happen? Because Emmanuel Macron is more and more isolated right now. He's sitting in the Élysée Palace. We have his former Prime Minister, who was quite popular at the time, Edouard Philippe, who's now saying Emmanuel Macron needs to name a Prime Minister, pass the budget, and then step down.
Yes, I agree. The president is more isolated than ever for the reasons you just said. Mr. Philippe has called for a snap presidential election. On he wants Mr. Macron to resign. Mr. Gabriel Attal has said that he did not understand anymore what the president does. These are very harsh words too. So Mr. Macron is more isolated than ever. On his options really are very limited. Dissolution is one of those options. Resignation too. You know, the president is supposed to have what we call pouvoir propre. He may decide on his own to dissolve. He may appoint a prime minister without asking anybody else. But actually, what we realize today is that those powers, actually, he would have wanted to call for from Parliament. Parliament should have been really on the background of those decisions.
Yeah.
Mr. Macron was not the person to do it, obviously.
But what do you how do we explain to an international audience? Because when they see Emmanuel Macron on the world stage meeting the likes of Donald Trump or Keir Starmer, he has a lot of clout and he's quite what he says counts a lot. But domestically, Emmanuel Macron, to say his wings are clipped is an understatement.
Mr. Macron sees himself as someone whose undiscussed legitimacy comes from his election by the people as president. He hasn't understood so far that the Fifth Republic is also very much a Westminster-style parliamentary government in which even a president elected by the people themselves needs the support of a party or a coalition in parliament. He has not understood that at all, or probably he doesn't want to understand it.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I'd be curious to get your thoughts on what his legacy would be now that we're even considering the fact that he may even resign. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Denis Baranger. Thank you.